This week on The Real Housewives of Dubai.
In his face, and there were people there. Spit in his face after the "see you next Tuesday" thing. This woman is a liar.
No, you're a liar.
A pathological liar.
Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about The Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 2, The Reunion. This is Part 1. Let's get right into this. So, we see the ladies get ready in their dressing rooms, and right away, we saw Ayan and Stanbury being super close, hugging and everything. And just by them being in their dressing rooms getting ready, it shows you that the dynamics in this group have definitely changed. As far as the fashions, I liked Stanbury's outfit. It looked kind of simple yet elegant. I liked Taleen's. I really did. Sara, to be honest, in my opinion, they all looked amazing. But let me know who y'all thought was the best dressed in the comments. So, the set was decorated as one of the buildings in Dubai where Beyonce performed. Speaking of Beyonce, the women all still think that they got better seats than the other women. So Andy goes around and introduces them. Now, it's important to mention that this season, Season 2, was filmed about 2 years ago, which is a while. The reunion, however, was just filmed recently, a few weeks ago. So right from the get-go, Andy asks Ayan and Lesa, how do y'all feel? And they say they are still pretty upset at each other. Their husbands aren't really friendly anymore either, but they're going to get into that later. The first segment they go over is Ayan and Caroline Stanbury's newfound friendship. Some questions called them an iconic duo, but the real question is, how did they become friends? Ayan says that after the season 1 reunion, when they were going back home, they were stuck on a plane for over 16 hours. And it forced them to talk to each other. So after that, time together, they decided to give each other a shot. They soon discovered that they had a lot in common, even though they were so different. And they liked each other's personalities. Then, I don't know if y'all remember this, but at the time when this was all unfolding during the season, Brooks accused Lesa of being jealous of Ayan and Stanbury's friendship. Lesa as well accused Brooks of being jealous of Stanbury's friendship with Ayan. So Andy asks Taleen, who does she think is actually the most hurt/jealous about this friendship, Lesa or Brooks? Taleen says that she thinks Lesa is more upset about it, but that Brooks is enjoying it. Wow, bingo, I thought that was spot on. Although now Brooks is trying to act unbothered, saying that she has no issues with them being friends at all. Then Lesa, too, is now trying to rewrite history. She claims that she'd never had an issue with Ayan and Stanbury developing a friendship. Even Andy says, well, that doesn't sound like the things you were saying. Lesa then shows some text messages where Ayan was still getting to know Stanbury, and I think that Lesa wanted to prove that Ayan wasn't taking the friendship seriously or that maybe she was uncomfortable, but Ayan says that those messages were from forever ago when she and Stanbury were still getting to know each other and still becoming friends. And Ayan says to Lesa, you're trying to use those texts against me in the wrong context. And Lesa says, oh, you poor victim. Here we go again. Professional victim. Ayan says, that is the worst word that you could use on me. So she was upset. She says, don't call me a victim. But Andy moves on. An update, though, is that Ayan's son is doing a lot of modeling, so that's great for him. Andy asks Ayan, how old does she think she is, because the results came that she was 45 to 50. Ayan says that she feels 50, just like how she feels her bones. And they all go around saying how old they think Ayan is. And Stanbury does kind of like tease a little when she says that she's glad that she's not the oldest one in the group anymore, because there's a lot of ageism on this show. That's clearly a dig towards Lesa. Stanbury's 48, and she just had a facelift, and everybody said that she looked good. Another thing that they talk about is when Ayan had her launch party for her makeup brand, Brooks in her confessional only congratulated Ayan's business partner for everything, not Ayan. Of course, now Brooks is deflecting and saying no, that she wasn't trying to be rude, she just really likes the business partner. And Taleen and Stanbury and Ayan, all three of them were trying to make her understand that, yeah, she might like the business partner, but she was definitely putting Ayan down. Brooks gets mad and says to them, shut the F up, I'm talking. Then Andy moves on. Again, that's another thing I had noticed about the reunion, is that they would, get into a topic and then Andy would move move from it like right away. So it's kind of like hard to have a real conversation that way. But I will also say that Brooks, what to her credit, she was getting cut off a lot by the other couch. But anyway, Andy continues to ask Ayan about her advocacy for female genital mutilation. Ayan says that she got very sad about this because she says that she had a very hard time after sharing it. She felt depressed because she thought that people would only associate her with that and make that her identity. Ayan says that is why being called a victim is the worst thing she could hear. So Lesa says, no, don't confuse the things. You are playing the victim in our fight, but I'm not talking about the FGM. Ayan says, no, because you know how upset I got at Sara when she called me a victim. So they begin to fight. Ayan and Lesa know, Ayan says that Lesa knows that her being called that will hurt her. And she says that, Ayan says, no one can deny that she loved and cared for Lesa. Lesa says, well, so did I. My issues with Stanbury all stem because of Ayan's issues with her. Stanbury says, you never liked me. Taleen is chiming in, being messy, and then asks Lesa, are you going to cry? And Ayan says, the side effects of Ozempic is that you always cry. And Lesa says, oh, the Ozempic you introduced me to? Ayan screams and says that's not true. So even that became an argument. Alright, so moving on, they changed the topic to the Stanbury, Brooks, and Taleen of it all. After taking a look at some of the scenes, they bring up how Brooks seemed to be more upset and have the biggest problem on Stanbury saying that Sergio saw Taleen vagina. Brooks explains that she didn't like that Stanbury was coming for her friend, which is, nice that she was defending her friend. Brooks keeps saying that there was an unseen footage where Taleen cried, and we actually saw it. Taleen was crying, and she seemed hurt that Stanbury brought up her vagina. So seeing Taleen cry made Brooks want to defend her even more. So that definitely makes sense. Taleen then jumps in and says that she was upset. Yes, she wasn't on the floor sobbing, but she was upset. It's a little dramatic, but she did cry. Taleen then asks Brooks, well, why didn't you address Stanbury in the moment when she made the comment originally? Why linger it on to the show? Brooks says that she did bring it up in the moment, and Sara does vouch for her. Brooks, she did feel betrayed by Taleen. Think about it. She defended Taleen, and then Taleen ends up being friends with Stanbury, who Brooks was defending her from. Andy tells Brooks that she was clearly under a lot of stress this season. She was working day and night in her new salon. She was raising her kid. So is that why she drank so much? Because she did drink a lot, and she acted a hot mess. The ladies agree that she isn't an alcoholic, but she does have a problem with alcohol. She goes bananas. Some of them call her a lightweight, but Ayan threw some shade. She was like, oh, 3 or 4 drinks is lightweight? Also, y'all remember how Brooks talked about how changed she was and how she was going to have this healing? Well, it turns out she only went to 1 session and then asked for her money back. That's crazy. Alright, moving on, this was interesting. So during this season, Brooks accused Stanbury of having a sugar daddy, her friend Michael, who paid for everything. Brooks says that the reason she said that was because there was a night where Michael was hanging out with Ayan. Michael got drunk and said to Ayan that he was not happy with Sergio and that he paid for all the bills. Ayan then told Brooks. So then Ayan and Stanbury now here are trying to clarify that what Michael meant was that he paid for all the maids and all of that when Stanbury and Sergio were staying at his house, but he doesn't pay her bills and things like that now. Stanbury clarifies that she's got money from her ex, grew up with money, and she does have businesses. She just doesn't talk about them on the show. Andy says, well, you kind of insinuated that Brooks gets money from men. And Stanbury says, well, she's a single lady and hangs out with men. Taleen had also joked a while ago that Brooks slept with a lot of men, but she did apologize for making that joke, although she says that Brooks does get money and gifts from the men that she dates. Brooks says that there was one man that she dated for a bit who they refer to as Shrek. Listen, poor Shrek keeps getting mentioned. First they called Emily Simpson Shrek, then they called Heather Gay Shrek, and now they're calling Brooks' ex-boyfriend Shrek. So this was funny though. Lesa says to them, listen guys, it's not okay for y'all to say that about Brooks. Then Sara on Madani finally wakes up and says, I'm sorry Lesa, I don't like BS, but you said it too about Brooks. Ooh. Lesa says that she had heard stuff and she repeated it, but she hasn't brought it up to the show. Yeah, okay. Andy then moves on again. They switch the topic towards Taleen. They take a look at her scenes, how she had this great friendship with Brooks and how they broke up and had that fight and all that. So without a doubt, they were friends, good friends. Taleen says that the fans have been great. She's had a positive experience. Her and Ayan are also very close. Now, however, she reveals that coming into the show, Brooks wanted her to have an issue with everyone except Sara. So then Andy wants to know, what happened. So Taleen says that after a dinner, Brooks kept calling her to tell her that Stanbury didn't like her. Brooks says that she wasn't looking for Taleen to be like her puppet or anything, but she did expect some sort of loyalty because she did bring her into the show. One thing that really bothered Taleen, and she was still very mad about, is being called the beggar. Taleen says that Brooks has been going around the press saying that she was begging to be on the show. Taleen says that she's not denying that she wanted to be on the show, but she's never begged. She was mad about that. Matter of fact, Brooks had actually put in word for a few people. Taleen says that she didn't think that being friends with Stanbury meant that she was picking a side between the two of them, although Brooks does admit that she was being messy and she was doing the most, bringing that sage to Stanbury's housewarming party. On that party, though, Taleen apologizes because she shouldn't have told Brooks, you have no husband. Stanbury says that she doesn't blame Rafi for fighting Brooks because it had been an entire night of Brooks coming towards Taleen. Like, she kept just throwing so many digs. Taleen walked away many times as well. And it's also important to note that Brooks and Rafi are friends. Matter of fact, even have been friends even longer than she's been friends with Taleen. Of course, Lesa tries to defend Brooks. Andy asks if that's the first time Brooks and Rafi have fought, and Brooks says yes, but then Taleen says that's not true. Y'all were fighting off camera at some party. You were spitting in his face. You are a pathological liar, Taleen says. And that was the end of the episode. Oof, you guys. So a lot of stuff going on, a little bit too much, like they kept moving from topic to topic way too fast. But I will say it's kind of crazy to see Lesa and Brooks now all of a sudden be the best of friends, especially because all freaking season long they were throwing shade at each other and throwing each other under the bus. So to now sort of see see them have this newfound friendship trying to defend each other, it's ridiculous. But anyway, this was a pretty good episode. What did y'all think about part 1? Let me know in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.